Today I'm going to talk about coffee. Now don't get me wrong, I love an artisan mocha frappe cappuccino with extra soy and a hint of unicorn horn as much as the next man. But most people buy coffee from two of the biggest chains around, Starbucks or Costa, and I think the reason is because the coffee is the consistency of the coffee. Now, I don't mean the consistency, i.e. the texture and the layer of bubbles and the texture of the coffee. I mean the consistency of the coffee experience, i.e. whether you have a cappuccino from Starbucks in London or whether you have it from Timbuktu, it will probably taste the same. It will taste exactly the same, and it's the same with a Costa. If you have a Costa from any Costa coffee shop, they pretty much taste identical. It's consistent, and so the people go back to them again and again and again because they're low risk. I know when I'm working abroad, if I arrive the night before for my evening meal before I do a gig, I always have a meal at McDonald's. Now I know that sounds, why would you do that? But the reason simply is I don't know of anyone who's ever got food poisoning from McDonald's because it's a global chain and that's a big issue for them. I worked at McDonald's when I was 15, and I know cleanliness is and food safety is of paramount importance to them. So I go and have my evening meal is always at McDonald's. And the reason simply is a few years ago I was doing a gig in Greece, and I had an evening meal from a local restaurant, and the next morning I had to get up on stage, and how do I put this? I was not feeling very well at all. And the last thing any speaker wants to do on stage is to release the Kraken. You don't want to do that. We talk about bringing the house down, but that really would be a step too far. So I spent a whole hour walking around with very, very clenched buttocks. It wasn't my best speech ever, and maybe if I hadn't kept my buttocks clenched, the speech would have been more memorable. But I survived and managed to get off the stage, exit stage left to the nearest toilet. So what's that got to do with consistency? That's wrong. Anyway, what's that got to do with consistency? What I mean is the reason people go to Costa, they go to McDonald's, they go to their favourite chain restaurants again and again and again is that consistent experience. And I would ask you, do you provide a consistent experience? At work, are you consistent in your actions and your thoughts and your deliverables? When someone asks a request of you, do you consistently deliver on time? Do you consistently have an open attitude and positive attitude at work? Are you consistent, or are you consistently grumpy or stressed or unimpressed by new work schemes and work opportunities? Are you the cynic in the room? Does that affect how people view you? Does that affect your job prospects? Does that affect when you want people to buy your ideas or service, or you want to get a pay rise? Does that affect how people think about you? So the question is to you today, can you be more like this and be consistent?